Our next speaker today is the amazing Amruta Daulatabadkar from Aurangabad. She's very shy, but it's a fact. And we had a couple of conversations in the last week, and a lot of what she said connected very deeply with what I also believe in. And I hope maybe in the Q&A afterwards we can share some of those thoughts. So Amruta, thanks for coming and welcome.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much, Khushru, for calling me here, and I'm thankful to so many people who have specially come down here to for this presentation. Girish sir, 15 days back he got operated and still he's here. Joshi sir and Chandrasekhar sir, thank you so much for being here. Mayur sir, so all of them are like traveling here to see our presentation. So we are really grateful. Pooja, amazing work. Like, wow, we met. So it's amazing to see your work and to learn, and it's really the way you narrated theory and design. So such a deep theory, such a deep emotional connect. My journey with architecture is very weird. I never wanted to be an architect. I was actually asked to be a doctor. So my parents asked me to study CET and be a doctor MBBS. Two times I tried, but I could never crack. And then my dad said, okay, I have one of my friend who is also a trustee member. So architect बहुत ही उनका respect है society में. So why don't you try that? So it was the only thing. बहुत respect है उनको, बहुत honored है, and he's amazing person. So why don't you go and see him and try for that field? And that's how it started. So I was never trained from childhood or ever thought of being an architect. But then when I started studying in first year, 2-3 months were very difficult. So it was only drawing line, straight line, inclined line, 45 degrees, and I came back home and I started crying ki mummy, there's no study. I don't know where I have landed. I have nothing to study there. It was like 11 12 science, and then one fine day we were given one project to do. So we had to do rectangular composition with color gradation. So the instruction was nobody is going to use scale, and I never painted in my school days, but whole night I tried not using scale, do the composition better and do the gradation better, and that was the best sheet. And so from that day my teacher inspired me ki okay, though the selected field was not of my passion or by choice, but I can do better, and that is how my journey started. And all thanks to my dad, because of him I'm here, and God's grace I'm trying to do better every day. So our firm is located in Aurangabad, and I've studied in Aurangabad, MIT College of Architecture. I did my job in Aurangabad with one of the local firm, and I started my practice 10 years back. So this year we turned 10. It is very difficult when we get the brief and when we start working on it. Many times we can't relate our work directly, but when we start studying our work after completing the project, then we start relating our work. So it is subconsciously related to what our childhood memories are, what our experiences are, if it is good, if it is bad, what was our neighborhood, how we were brought up, what we feel when we try to imagine if we occupy that as a user. And when we study everything, when we study the context, end of the project we think ki everything was related consciously, subconsciously. When we travel, when we start relating our work, when we feel ki okay, this is our match, and then end product is relation of everything. So we have context, we have history, we have heritage, we study people, we start connecting with people, and at the end of the project we feel yes, we actually have derived the work with the connection, with the visual connections, with the courtyards, what we have already been there, or the neighborhood vadas, we have already been there, we have played there. And that is how our journey starts. But in the end it makes us realize ki yes, we were already here, we knew this, we have just refined it, or we have just designed it our way. The first project which I'm going to present is boys hostel. So every time the brief is budget. Even this project has had a brief you can do your way, but budget is important. So it has to be very low budget project, and you can fit as many rooms as possible as per FSI. So there was no other brief from our client side. So the site was very interesting. It had many trees all over, and the most important tree was inside the building, what we made a part of the building. So it was located in the corner of the site, which had to be included in the building part. So that was our concept. Okay, we are not going to cut any tree, that was for sure. Not even the surrounding, not even the tree inside. And we are going to plan our building accordingly. Now hostel, I have never been into any hostel, so it was very difficult first कि क्या चाहिए, what we really want in hostel. But the user was clear, it has to be a boys hostel, but it can be from any sector, any field, or it can be from any course. So it was not fixed. So the most important part was we have to connect and bring everybody together. So it can be from any field or it can be from any class. You have to bring everybody together. So how can we do that? So we started designing these spaces by introducing courtyards, which is more inward looking building, and we started designing the passages which has a very close connect to the courtyard as well as to the bedroom. So these are the floor plans. What we thought was, while designing, we are not going to give every room a typical room layout. So we are going to have every room some or other different feature. So it can be a different window, it can be a different view, it can be a different utility space, it can be just a twist in wall, and every room has a different interiors. So we actually had a same floor plate, so there was no massing in the floor plates. So it was similar floor plate, similar slab area throughout. But how can we give that? So this is how we started playing with the walls, the freestanding walls. So we just started playing with the walls inside and out, and that gave us totally different layout in the rooms. So if we just go back, we see we have different layouts. So there's a balcony coming out here. This is the layout. So a small shift in the wardrobes, the study areas. This is towards looking a tree. So everywhere you will find a small change in the room. So anyway, if any occupant in any particular room will always feel a connect what is there in your room. So every time you feel there is something different in another occupant's room, and then you start connecting with each other. So this is how we started playing with the walls. So this is a typical section through a courtyard. This is how we developed on model how the walls will act, how they will shift, how they will play. And we have also designed the internal part of the electric, the electric layout, the electric design, how there are shelves are going to work. Everything has been designed by us, and with the shelves, with the bookshelves, with the table, everything has been customized on site. Now these are the small features which we actually started studying on site. So if you see, this is again a connect with a childhood memory. Where I stay, it's an old heritage colony. So back then the houses were interconnected. So there were small windows which used to connect, or the small doors which used to connect with the house, the neighborhood house. So this is how the connection used to form between the neighbors. And I could literally in my childhood go from one house to the last house. So it was all interconnected in my colony. So we thought, why not bring this in the room? So these rooms are interconnected with small windows and openings. So we thought, why not make that? And just imagine if somebody has a birthday and somebody is coming and just popping in from the another room and surprising. So these are the small elements we started introducing to make rooms and interconnection more interesting. So these are the window details, door details, where we had introduced small louvers, so you can just interact from outside. So this is how interaction works from the balconies. The windows through and through which connect to the outside trees. So this was our site, and we were blessed with trees from all sides. So when we started designing our windows, it was not at all pre-planned. So it was like where there is a tree, there is a window. So none of the window is aligned to the window on the upper floor. So all the windows are as per the tree location and where you find a view. This is the tree. So what we did is like to cut down the mass of the building, as it was a very similar floor plate. We started introducing these cuts in the slab areas. So in spite of keeping the walls or the massing same or just playing with the walls inside out, the building did not overpower the outside or the users. This is how interconnection and activity works in a courtyard. So this is a lobby space which is actually included in the courtyard part, and these are the jharokas coming out. So you can connect with the courtyard, with the rooms inside out. The lobby space works as a sitting area also. Of course, the climate concerns, the south facade. So Jali is the south facade, the ventilation, and everything works as per climate conditions. So we introduced an artist and we said, ki, okay, why not create some illusion? So there's no dead space on the lobby walls. These are the interactive spaces. So we tried not opening room windows directly into the lobby spaces. So we created small niches and the doors were opening from the niche. So we avoided directly a door opening into the lobby space and spoiling the lobby space. So we had a very clean lobby space which acts as an interactive space also. This is the way how rooms are connected, room windows are connected to the jharokas and to the opposite room. And this is how tree pops up in the common space, which is an interactive space also. The next project is a very small project. It's just 1200 square feet project, which was given by a builder client, and he wanted to develop a small urbanscape kind of, which is between the service road and the highway, which he has taken on lease from government to develop that space, because it's a compulsory thing. Okay, you are building up you're building a structure there on the roadside service road, so you take the charge of the space, maintain it for 5 years. This was very interesting project, though it was just 1200 square feet work. So the concept, there was only one brief, like, can you create any amenity space? But it was very small chunk of land, and creating an amenity, I don't know how it will work. And the second was, can you connect that to the service road and the main road? So we started developing. So we thought, why not take some reference from history and heritage of our own city. So Malik Ambar, who introduced Nehre Amri in Aurangabad, he collected water from the like seasonal water from the mountains, and then created nehers and supplied the water to the city back then. So we thought, why not create small miniature in the small form with the available sources, and give an example or give some sort of message to our city that Aurangabad is really a dry place and we really need pavements which needs to be working as a percolation surface, and can we really repeat these modules? So this is how we developed. So first material was brick. So we thought ki brick is going to be the best material to percolate rainwater. This part is the service road, this is the highway and the footpath, and how we have connected this service road to the highway. So that was the basic requirement, but can we develop this part? So we thought, let's take a step well, a small kund and a water percolation as our basic concept and develop it. So these are the sections how we worked out. So we collected water on this platform, which is 9 inches above the level, and this is how water percolation and water flow starts from the drain, and water gets percolated into the rainwater harvesting pit, which also acts as a sitting space. We developed this with a small paper model, just a one-day job, and we developed on proportions. So this is how it works. So water drains from the highway. So whenever in the rainy season, the highway water gets drained from the provided municipal corporation drain, which was the outlet was on the service road. We collected that water on the surface, the highest top level, and that the water was drained even in this small pit, as well as it is getting drained through the small drainage lines or small nehers kind of, and it directly gets percolated into harvesting pit. So these steps acts as a connecting part as well as a sitting part. These are the small drains which we created. Water gets collected here on the highest level and it gets drained into this, as well as this surface water gets drained into the channels and gets percolated into rainwater harvesting pit. So this is how it works. So this is the outlet which was given by corporation. It was already there, and we were blessed. Okay, this was the site where the outlet has been given, and we had a footpath here. And what we did was we used this dry part as a gravel, so water gets filtered there, and you can collect this on the highest part, and all the surface water gets drained. That's how it works. So it was artificially collected water, not the rainwater, because it was not raining in that season, but we tested that. Next project is an institutional project, which was on 9,500 square feet plot area approximate, and again a compact size for an institution, but we were asked to design fit in requirements. This is the plot, this is what we could purchase, and you have to fit all our requirements. So that was the only brief. But then we thought, even client was not very sure what kind of building he wants, what he is expecting. The building was totally located outside the Aurangabad, and he said ki the user is going to be very simple, and then you don't need to design much, you just fit in our requirements and it will work. But we thought, is that the really way what they're expecting, and why they're coming to me? They can do it. So again, the inspiration here was steps. So in that building, we thought, can we really make that space very interactive by introducing different kind of steps? So huge entrance steps, single flight, cantilever steps, and can we make that building more interactive through these spaces? So the massing of the building was just not work for the elevation purpose, but it was very compact space as per the requirements and as per the program which I had to fit in. So what we did was, we played with the masses, which in turn created these spaces for us inside the building, which acts as an inward looking spaces, connecting spaces. The section we worked out, see, these are all different kind of flights. Like this is an entrance flight, this is cantilever flight, this is single flight, this is dog leg. So these flights started connecting the building and the spaces on different levels. And the play of mass created the spaces which became interactive spaces, and we could carve out skylights. So fitting in requirements, playing with the mass, as well as creating connection, access, and bringing in natural light inside. These are the floor plans. It has a basement also. So this is an entrance, huge 25 feet wide steps. So we land up in a small courtyard. This is admin block. Again, now in this project, we could connect to a memory from college days. Like in the college which I studied, or in the school which I studied, the admin block or the fees section was really unattempted, boring, and very burdensome. Like, you have to clear your no dues. That's the only way you can get your hall tickets. So that admin section becomes so burdensome, and you don't feel like going there or talking to people. So can we really change the way we look at the admin part? And we thought, ki, let's design an admin part which doesn't look like an admin part and becomes a very welcoming and pleasing part where students love to really pay their fees and go ahead. So this is how we worked on massing, carving out spaces which could actually help us finding out spaces which become more interactive and connecting spaces to students. So this is our end product, is how we carved out spaces and could create connections. So this is the end product. So these are the entrance step, the cantilever steps. We tried to make it double height so that it becomes welcoming, and the plot was very compact. And how to make it more welcoming, a feel that you are entering an institution, and how we can really make that impact. So these are different level corridors coming out of building, so they can really connect to outside. The step can really connect you from inside outside. So these are the spaces which we could carve out, and this becomes an interactive space. This is the admin block. When you enter, you see this idol, and this whole area becomes interactive. So you're not disconnected even from the top floor. So this is how windows are created. So you are here on the north side of the building. You see this space, which is the mid landing of the staircase. You have this puncture and see through a library. This is a principal cabin. So you're on the top floor and you see this courtyard. You have skylights carved. This is the admin block. So this, you're on the mid landing level and you see the whole area of the admin block, the entrance, the courtyard, the connecting bridges. This is from the staircase side, which is of the rear side of the building, from the west side. So again, you get connected when you are entering. You see the upper floor, you see this classroom. So this is what we thought, can we really create interactive spaces? You are in any corner of the building and you're still connected to the entrance. This is the library. So really, like, we thought in the college days, who wants to study? Like, no one. So why somebody is climbing and that person is disturbing? So why not? Like, these were my memories when I studied. Like, who really wants to be pushed in library in your 11th, 12th and BSc area, like BSc education? So why not create every space as an interactive and interesting space? So we have a skylight carved out here. So you're on the second level of terrace and you're still connected to the road. So whichever corner of the building you are connected to the whole premise. And that was the idea, can I create a small premise in a building? So rather than giving just a built structure, can I really bring in that premise, that small pockets where students can interact? So this is on the top floor and you see the entrance courtyard. You see the corridor coming out. So these are all connecting areas to terraces, so you can just peep out from the window. So I had no feeling to block kids inside the classroom. So you can just interact with anyone in the courtyard, anyone in the staircase, in the on the bridges. Uh, this is the video which we could capture when we were completing the work. Unfortunately, fortunately, I don't know what, but they have also added on user, and that is kids. We designed it as a college for 11th, 12th, and BSc students. But we enjoyed the way kids were using the space, so it was shocking, but yeah. So they were interacting from the mid level, they were enjoying in the courtyard. I don't know, there's some problem, this extended video. Um, uh, this is the project which is really close to my heart because this is our first architectural project we completed in 2016. It's an inward looking house with a very challenging context. It was on 1080 square feet and closed from three sides. So it was only north side entrance, and we had to carve out spaces. We have to give amenities client wanted, and we client was very emotionally connected to this plot. So we asked them, why are you not moving out? And he said, no, this is my ancestral land, and whatever, ma'am, whatever you have to do it, you have to do it on this chunk of land. So uh, the context is so challenging. Like, you have to give him all amenities, you have to bring him different, you have to upgrade his lifestyle, you have to bring a touch of okay, he has hired me as an architect and he has some expectations from me, he has some dream, yet you have to keep him connected to the neighborhood. So that was the challenge. So what we thought was ki, okay, we'll bring in amenities, we'll bring in natural light with all three side closed, still we have to pour in natural light, still we have to make it connected, not a structure which has been built in the surrounding, and yet using a material palette which is very simple, which is very in the natural form, and through the material palette can we connect our client to the neighborhood. So again, the this is a vada which was my neighbor's vada, which doesn't exist anymore. So you never think when you design, but when you start studying your own projects, you start relating ki, okay, I have been here and this is what we actually feel like to make and bring in our project. And that is how the user connect through the vada, through the open spaces. And the colony which I stay in the old city has the same condition. It has opening only from the east side and the west side, two sides are closed. So this is what we learned from our childhood, and we are improving it and bringing it in our way to our projects. So these are the conceptual plans where three sides were closed. We carved out spaces. Now the plot size was 1080 square feet, and I have to get in natural light as well as fulfill all the requirements. So what we thought was, ki, why waste space in the lobby area? So we staggered the house. So we played on the level. So we this is the first landing. We go on the first landing, we enter a room. The second landing, we enter a room and a common space. This is ground floor plan. We have a parking space. So we carved out a parking space. Though it's a very narrow road, but in future, whenever he buys a car for himself, so he can park it. So this is the amenity we started including it. And the courtyard started connecting the spaces and fetching in natural light. Though the staircase was located on the front side, we had to even give privacy to the staircase. So we had lower system for the staircase, which brings in ventilation as well as give it a privacy part, fulfills a privacy part. So these are the floor plans. You have a parking, you enter on the first level, you have a courtyard, you go down on a small common area space. You enter on a first floor landing, you on the mid landing you have bedroom, on the second main landing you have bedroom, a toilet space. Now this space acts as a ventilation, so this also gives a skylight to the kitchen area. So we carved out a skylight in the kitchen area. This acts as a dry balcony as well as ventilation to the toilet. Again, on the next floor we have a bedroom, we have a double height staircase carved out, a courtyard which extends on the upper level, and a terrace, small terrace area. So this is how the section works. So you have a connecting space, visual connection, as well as it is located on a mid landing level, we can give privacy. This is the part where staircase has a lower system and a small terrace carved out which acts as a porch. So we thought we have only one side elevation, so how we should bring in elements and give 2-3 sides, 2-3 faces to our building. So we started making elements freestanding, and then we could actually carve out spaces which connects in and out of the walls to the outside. This is the freestanding. We have carved out space from the northwest side. So even in my colony where I stay, we could never open a window which is road facing, because it's hardly 10 feet wide, small lane, and the house opposite to us can hear everything, can see everything, peep. So we started thought let's make this private space as a dead space and carve out a window from northwest side. So they have a window, they have natural light, yet they have privacy. So what we thought was to keep the simplest form of the material, use kadappa in all different ways. So you make kadappa strips, you have shahbad stone, and you have simple tiles, simple colors. Keep it very minimal, keep it very simple, well connected to the neighborhood. So we carved a double art staircase because of the mid landing, and we have this room as 1.5 times. So we created interesting spaces. Our next project is it was like an opportunity for us in a different way. The brief was like, we don't have any budget, so you are free to do. So it was like, wow, first project in my life has no budget constraint. So it was a very nothing very challenging about this residence, but I have thought to show this project because from the courtyard house to this project. So this is how the journey from a residence of the first residence which I did to couple of years back what we completed. So how the journey we crossed, and okay, where there is a budget constraint, where there is a context constraint, and here we have no restriction at all. So typical Vastu house, and due to this Vastu grid we could develop axis and fixed places. But yes, okay, now these are the bedroom spaces, but how we are going to give terraces to every bedroom space, because usually the bedroom which is on the front side, the Vastu wala grid, the rear side bedrooms don't get terraces. So the thing was okay, utilize all that Vastu, give carve out spaces, and why not every bedroom has a small terrace which connects to the other bedroom, which connects to the other areas. So again, in every project, the visual connections, the access and the connectivity, even if it is a private user, a family or an institution, it works. So this is the section where the common spaces connect. And we started out carving spaces, okay, how we can connect the lobby space, the double height living area. So this is the daughter's room, this is grandmother's room, and this is the common space. So okay, we had a Vastu constraint, but can we really bring in all those elements and start connecting? So we thought material palette is going to be very simple, though it's we have no budget constraint, but okay, yes, we are going to use kind of same material. So this is the common lobby on the upper floor to the grandmother's terrace. This is the outside of the plot to the staircase. So we started working out on axis to fetch in as much possible as natural light. This is the window which connects to the dining space and to grandmother's bedroom. This is the restaurant which we did long back, maybe 5 6 years back. So I wanted to show this project here because the use of material. So what we did is we use brick and we use MS sheet, and we use that in different ways. So we have MS sheet ceiling. We have the restaurant had no budget to use directly cotton steel sheet. So what we did was we use MS sheet locally available. We applied lime to it and we rusted it, and we applied different chemicals, and we could rust it on the side, and we did a treatment and we used as a cotton sheet. So the look is of cotton sheet, but we did it in a very budget oriented way. So these are all cutouts which is done in MS. So what I felt like showing is that this is the ceiling done it in MS sheet. These are the cutout done in MS sheet. The whole cladding is done in MS sheet, and rest is brick. So there are only two major materials, and you can play with the material in different ways. So you don't need to bring in many material palette to show your design or make it more interesting. It can be a very limited form, yet you can use it in a different way. So this is how we worked out on grid and fold. So we even had a paper models done for this. So earlier the grid was tilted square, but the fabricated on site he marked something wrong, and we thought ki, okay, this works in much better way, and it was fabricator who arrived with a diamond shape, and this is how the roof works. So all local labors, local craftsmen, nothing very high technical, and we did these things on site. Few of our upcoming projects. So this is one school, we are doing it in Kandivali. So there, of course, the space is the limitation. We are doing the upgradation of the school. So interiors with some brief, and there's no window to the corridor, to the end of the corridor, so no natural light. I have no scope to change anything, it's just doing interiors. And 7 feet wide corridor. So we thought how to make it more interesting for kids with the given conditions, with the given site, not fetching in natural light, and how to make it interesting. So what we thought was, if a kid is using this corridor, he should not find it monotonous, he should not find it bored. So we started working on illusion parts. We started introducing small elements like vowels, like Roman numbers, and we started making cutouts and illusions. So every time kid passes through, he finds an illusion in a different way, because he will see it in a different angle with so many views, so with so many perspective, and it's going to be very subjective. Somebody may find it cube, somebody may find it rectangle, somebody may find it plane surface. So how to make it interesting? So we started introducing these illusions by playing it in a tile as a material. So this is the ground floor toilet we completed for the same school. In this, the brief was, can you bring in elements which pre-primary kids has, like circle, square, and can you make even a toilet space as a learning space? So we did that. So they have a zigzag line, they have shapes introduced, they have color introduced, and can we really bring that through our interiors? So a kid should not feel, oh, he's using a toilet, a typical toilet. So this is one more upcoming residence. The brief was he wants to use brick in all possible ways. So we thought, ki, okay, let's design a slab and an exposed brick slab. Can we use that? And this is the staircase. So staircase also has an exposed brick. This is the slab entrance, the parking area. It's upcoming. So he was very fond of bricks, and we thought let's use it in all possible ways. This is one restaurant project. Unfortunately, we are not doing it anymore. But yeah, this was, we thought we really worked hard on it, and we tried to bring in stone and created levels, brought in interactive spaces. So this is how the sections were worked out. So though the spaces, though the eating spaces, the were different at different levels, but the landscape was connecting them. Though they had privacy, yet they could connect through the small landscape areas, through the levels, through the step wells created, and they could connect with each other. So this was how the front was worked out. So that was the only thing as a front elevation. These are the internal spaces, the toilet area. Yeah, thank you.